things last night.
All right, I'm in the press lounge with I'm Randy
Reilly Brown.
Reilly Brown. I'm sorry,
Randy Brown. You call me Randy.
I'll call you Reilly.
Okay,
But,
that's easier.
he's with Domestika, and tell us a little bit about Domestika and what they are. They're like a school, right?
Yeah, it's like a series of classes they have online that they're short classes that are, I mean, not too short. Each one, what's the best way to describe it? Like, they have professional creators teaching people how to do a certain project. And so each class is kind of based around that one specific project. And they break the instructions down into relatively short videos that you can do one at a time. And it's just a great way to learn from some of your favorite artists and social media people how they do their thing.
And so what do you do, and how did you get connected with Domestika?
I'm a comic book artist, and I've worked on a lot of things like Spider-Man, Deadpool, Batman, for a variety
Small
of
characters.
Yeah.
Minor characters.
and I've got some creator-owned stuff at Webtoon. I've got my comic OUTRAGE, and so I've been in the industry for a while. I've done a lot of cool stuff, and I have a class about how to draw an action scene in a comic.
Okay. Could you give us like a example of something you would do as part of your class, or?
Yeah. Well, it's not just how to do an action scene, but it's like how to take the whole process, like including character design, coming up with a story, and then drawing drawing the scene. And it's kind of a fun thing because I couldn't use Batman or Spider-Man because I don't have the rights to them. So I was talking to my 6-year-old son, who he's always drawing his own superheroes, and so I told him I was like, hey, can I use your character Thunder Guardian for this? Tell me a story about Thunder Guardian and I'll draw it. And so he told me this story about Thunder Guardian fighting this character Finger Shot, who has like different weapons in his fingers, and it's a fun story written by a 6-year-old. It was just something fun I could do to that, and then take this 6-year-old imagination and turn it into a comic book, and that was a lot of fun.
And so, who do you feel would benefit from the courses that they offer?
Anybody who's interested in doing art, and I've seen a lot of the comic book classes that they have, so that's kind of what I know the most about. But they have stuff for any level of experience. I think mine is slightly more advanced. It's not really like you have to kind of come in with an understanding of at least how to draw and like the basics of making a comic.
I won't be taking your class anytime soon because.
But they do have classes for you that will start you off at the beginning, and this is how
to draw a stick figure.
Exactly. You start from there and you build up on it.
So tell us a little bit, if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about your creator-owned stuff that you have. I mean, you mentioned your Webtoon series. Do you tell us a little bit about that, and then do you remember your first comic that you kind of bought, when the kind of said I want to do this, and get paid money for it.
Okay, what should I start? Should I start?
Whatever,
with Webtoon, or should I build up to that?
Build up to it.
I mean, I've always loved art. When I was a kid, I just loved drawing and drawing my own characters and stuff like that. And when I was a kid myself, people would ask kids what they want to be when they grow up, and I always said I wanted to be an artist. And it was funny because I didn't I said I'd want to be an artist, but because I like drawing, but when I didn't really know what kind of art I wanted to do, because I'd go to museums and there'd be like still lifes and portraits and all this stuff that I thought was kind of boring, but I wanted to draw like the cool stuff, like He-Man and Thundercats and G.I. Joe and the stuff I'd watch on cartoons. But I knew that animation was like a whole team of people, and I figured that with my luck, my job would be to animate doors opening and closing and not the cool stuff. But then when I was about 10 or 11 years old, I was at a friend's birthday party, and he was giving out Marvel comics as party favors. And so I looked at it, and it was like, the comic I got was Dr. Doom fighting Spider-Man. And I looked at it, and I noticed that, wait, there's only one artist on here who drew all the things. Not just the doors opening and closing, but all the cool stuff too. The robots, the aliens, and everything. And I was like, that's it. This is what I want to do. So then ever since then, that was kind of the plan. And then I started working, I went to college at VCU for illustration and started doing some small press stuff then just to kind of learn how comics work. And when I graduated, I started going to a lot of comic conventions and showing off my portfolio to editors. And after about a year or so of that, I got hired at Marvel to do my first professional gig, which was the 2005 holiday special.
Okay.
And after that, I pretty much got put on the Deadpool, Cable and Deadpool book, where I met Fabian Nicieza, who was one of my favorite X-Men writers when I was a kid, and co-creator of Deadpool and all sorts of great stuff. So that was awesome to work with him. And we, worked together really well. And so, after a few years bumping around on a few titles, eventually me and him wanted to do a creator-owned series together. And so at that time, Webtoon was kind of making a big push to get more established American comic creators to do some series with them. And so we pitched our series Outrage, which is kind of like, it's a lot of Fabian's Deadpool humor and sensibilities, but doing stories that we can't do at Marvel or DC, like the type of things that, it's a lot of it's about internet culture and people being mad at each other. Basically what Outrage is about is, how when somebody types something online, it makes you wish you could just reach across the internet and smack it.
All the time.
It's about a guy that can do that.
Oh, wow. Now that's a superpower.
Yeah. And so that's been a lot of fun. And it was great to work with Webtoon, which is a much different publisher with a different audience than what we usually have.
So kind of summarizing everything and summing up, tell us, about Domestika, why people should, if they're, a creator or artist, why they should check it out. Where I don't, do you know their social media? Did they give you all that information?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I imagine they're.
Okay, yeah, I'll find it.
Links are in the comments.
That's right.
And then Domestika took and I've done a bunch of other comic series as well. I just finished up last year. I finished up a Batman versus Fortnite series, which was awesome. That was a lot of fun. That was my first time really getting to draw Batman also. And then Fortnite is like the biggest, coolest video game pretty much ever. I mean, it's amazing. And so that was a lot of fun. And I don't know how Domestika learned about me or why they reached out to me as opposed to anyone else. But I imagine they were just they had to get some of those sold out first issues of Batman versus Fortnite, and they're like, wait, maybe if Reilly comes into the studio, he'll bring us some. But it's a great way to learn. It's a great way to if you want maybe it's a great place for people who want to learn about art from some of their favorite creators, or if you're a student already and you just want to kind of get a little bit more
refinement.
Yeah, or a little bit more specific things from people that you're not, aren't your professors at college, and you could just it's just one project at a time, and they're you don't have to pay for a whole semester or whatever. It's just they're really
by the class.
Yeah, and they're really well priced to be available to anybody.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to chat and tell us a little more about Domestika and what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks, man. Absolutely.
Did I ask if you had it social media?
No, but I will talk about that.
The one where you can reach out and slap people?
Yeah, I know. Yes, you can read Outrage on Webtoon, and it's for free. So every week right now we have a new episode coming out. And you could find me on Instagram at Reilly_Brown, and on Twitter also Reilly_Brown. And I've got a podcast that I put out every week called Hypothetical Island that I do with my old studio mate George O'Connor, who's another comic book artist. And we interview other comics creators, artists, writers, animators, toy designers. And that's a lot of fun.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you.